Yes, everyone, how's it going? Are you having a good day? I almost forgot what day it was then, but it is Thursday, innit? Anniversary of Sir Matt Busby's birthday. Born on this day in 2009, obviously anniversary of the second greatest achievement this football club's ever had, winning the treble. Obviously not quite the magnitude of the 1991 Cup Winners' Cup, but still a pretty good night out, wasn't it? For everyone who can remember it that old. I mean, how many of you lot don't remember the treble? Should we start there? Yeah, top. Got some players to talk about today. And some good players as well. And some of it's starting to round up, including some people who used to be interns here now getting quoted. Alex Turk. But we'll have a go at that. Oh, wow, shit. Someone just dunked in with a super chat straight off the bat. Let's read that one out. And it's Joe Alexander. Says, I'm driving 20 hours across America to get back home to California from school. Your chat with Gary helped for one of the hours. What's your thoughts on using a portion of the transfer budget to reinforce the club's infrastructure? For me, that's a massive thing that United should be doing. I said it a couple of years now. I think I said it when Neymar first went to PSG on a free transfer. Remember that, when Qatar basically bought his contract out and then gifted him to Paris? Like, that's not the bentest thing you've ever seen. With transfers getting into the £250,000 kind of territory, you got to ask the question, how much does it cost to produce an academy player? 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million? It's not 250 million, is it? So why wouldn't you, as a football club, go, who is the 20 best football academy coaches in the world? What are they going to cost us? 100 grand a year? 200 grand a year? Times 20? 4 million? It's fuck all in the grand scheme of things. Because even if you're not getting Hollywood kid, even if you're not getting superstar players, you're going to get bang average first team players, and that saved you 30, 40 million. In fact, bang average first team players are 30, 40 million every time now. So having the absolute dog's bollocks of academy coaches from the foundation age, 9 to 12, and running them all the way through and having a real good network, a bit like what City are doing, where they can farm them out to this club and that club and this on the other club. Yeah, and if any Dortmund scouts are in here, fuck off. All right? I think that's, from a business perspective, if you were to run Manchester United as a business and you go, do you know what? Manchester United business, what's our biggest outgoing? Transfers. Okay. What's our next biggest outgoing? Wages. Right. Can we get our transfers down? Can we get our wages down? Academy players cost you less in wages. Facts. Academy costs nothing in transfers. You've just eliminated the two biggest costs in your business. You're a fucking genius. Now, of course, you're never going to completely eliminate them. But if you can take 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% off your biggest yearly outlay, you're a better run business. Therefore, there's more. You can go for better quality first team signings when you need them, rather than just having to cut your cloth accordingly. And there's a serious connection to be had with the football club and its fan base when it is homegrown players. There's something there about that, and you can't deny it. So yeah, if I was in charge of any football club, I would be investing heavy into my academy, and maybe you'll get to see that when we reach what we're finally doing with Paddock FC, because we're currently a first team heavy sort of football club. We will be a junior team with an adult team in a few years' time. Right then, should we get stuck straight into it? Nkunku, that's who we're talking about first. And Ekrem Konur, freelance worldwide transfer journalist. Sounds a bit iffy to me, but here's what he's saying. So we're talking about Nkunku. He's got 35 goals and 20 assists in 51 games last season. One of the best forwards in Europe. There's strong interest from Chelsea, but no one really knows yet how Chelsea's current ownership situation is going to affect them going forward. He says it's interesting, although unlikely, as Leipzig Sporting directly did recently say Nkunku is not for sale, but that's where you start all negotiations, isn't it? If you go, oh yeah, we're looking to sell him, have you got a fiver? you're never going to get players out the door with that. But if you say, yeah, not for sale, not for fucking sale, then people have to start throwing some dosh at you. Gazzetta dello Sport are talking about United needing a new centre-back this summer. Don't know where they got that one from. But there's a new name on the list. So they're saying that Tottenham's interest in Alessandro Bastoni suggests that United are also interested in a move for him. Is it Inter Milan, in case you're not sure? Jonathan Schrager yesterday started hinting a little bit as well that he's not the only Torres not being the only left side centre-half that United are interested in signing. You know, could Bastoni be another one of those that we are interested in? Alex Turk, the fuck are you doing in my notes, Turk? It says United are sounding out interest for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. There is a belief outside that Jurriën Timber would act as a replacement in the first season, at least. And someone mentioned this on one of these chats in the comments the other day, saying maybe we're looking at Pau Torres and Timber, because I thought it could be a Morata and Lukaku kind of thing where we're looking at one and the other, and realistically we're only going to go for one, whichever was our first choice. If we manage to get our first choice, the other being a second choice. But there is a possibility that Timber could be the right back option, and we're actually still looking for a left side centre half, and that wouldn't be the craziest thing. The defence definitely needs improving in several areas. I don't think a single centre-half and you just fucking bang a bow on it and just say, fucking dunzo. So that could be quite astute. There could be something in that. Romano yesterday said United have discussed Timber internally this week with Ten Hag, and his name is on the list alongside Pau Torres, who's got a release clause of around 60 million euros. But it's understood to be potentially negotiable with Villarreal. So it seems like we're starting to shake out some of our targets. Not sure on the Nkunku link. That feels a little bit like rhubarb to me. But I definitely think there's some interest in Timber. And it does seem like there's actually interest in Pau Torres as well. Whether or not we can get either of those over the line remains to be seen. It remains to be seen whether there's actually real truth to those, but it does, at the moment at least, seem that there could be something in those. We've got a super chat here from Charlie Foster. He says, "Hi mate, hope you're well." I'm all right, thanks for asking. What's the ideal free transfers this window? I would say number 6 first, right back, maybe a right winger if you're not going to move Sancho over there. Otherwise, you know, a midfielder. There's more to it than that. I think you just got to bring in several players ASAP. S. Jewett says, surely Timber isn't great going forward for a right back. I think he's perfectly adequate for what we need. Dugout Dan says, Steve, do I reckon we could give Villarreal Bay back as part of a deal for Torres? You might be able to get some of the money off. Yeah, potentially. Andrea says Dortmund already got 5 signings. Sickening, isn't it? Absolutely fucking sickening how quickly they've gone through with it. Just Lost Cause says, and Real Madrid want him, don't they? Not sure who that one's talking about, but yeah, Real Madrid seem to be in the mix for everyone. Clive with a super chat there says, do I think we signed Timber and Pau? Feels a little bit too convenient that 2 of the first names that were linked to in a window will be eventually signing. So I'd say probably not. I think we probably miss out on at least one of those. I'm still not 100% convinced on Pau Torres either, to be honest. But, La Liga signings do generally make a better transition into the Premier League. Google this. Says, Howson, we need to get our signings before the end of June. Do you think we will make it? Well, you got 30 days. I think you'll get some in. They're talking a lot about Frankie de Jong still, and that could be done early. And United have supposedly given a bit of an ultimatum on that. Again, don't know the realities of how true that is or not. But I think you could see a couple moving in the next 2 weeks, and I'm sure the new manager wants to just rush those through as much as he can. Caveman says, is there any word on who will replace the people that have left, i.e. Judge and the 2 scouts, and who will handle the transfers since Judge has left? I think John Murtaugh's going to be doing that one. I'll try and find out though. And no, I actually thought Paul Mitchell was going to be coming, but Monaco have just given him a new deal, so he will not be coming. Abhinav says, you think if we get Shaw and Wan-Bissaka to Moyes, we get a discount on Rice? I don't think you could get a discount that would make it make sense on Rice. I think he's just going to be far too much money, and you go, do you know what? Good player, not worth what they want for him. Myga says Koulibaly. Yeah. Did Gary answer my question on Beckham? No, he just laughed. Sushant says, isn't Powell more of a fancy version of Lindelof? I could see that. Should we consider someone who fits the bill more for Ten Hag? Well, if it's Ten Hag that's pushing this, then it's Ten Hag that's pushing this. Mujaba says, even my nan is better than Shaw. Okay. Myga's just spamming Koulibaly. Behave yourself. Kevin says, any more coaches coming in? I haven't heard, but I think there's one more coming in. There's a lady that I've been told to keep my eye on, but I haven't seen her name mentioned just yet, so we'll see what happens with her. Joshua says, saw a rumour this morning on Oceanman, Johnny United, how true is it? Like, I don't have any inside track on a single transfer at United this season, incoming at least, so I don't know. Tom says, Torres is far better than Lindelof. Well, we will see if he comes, won't he? Lachlan says, who would be the biggest surprise performer in the current squad under Ten Hag? I think it'd be Fred. Devam says, isn't Pau Torres Lindelof on steroids? I think you have to throw allegedly in there, but maybe. Where is a DM? Well, there's DMs from everywhere. Is it the lady from Chelsea, says Lee Townsend? Nope. Any news on Greenwood? I have no news on Greenwood. I think he's got a court case next month, so I'm sure things will move from then onwards. Rebecca says, Steve, with a reduction in share value and increase in debt, could the Glazers be forced to sell? There seems to be a lot of smoke in that sort of space, doesn't there? That reduced potential revenues because of the failure of the Super League, increased debt on the club, other things getting into the mix, the fact that they are definitely going to have to upgrade Old Trafford very soon, the increased demands on the first team playing staff, the fact that Chelsea sold so easily with seemingly a queue of buyers wanting to be interested in them, even for the money involved in Chelsea, which I don't think anyone thought they were worth. I think that means that Manchester United could get sold like that. So it'd be very interesting to see if something materialises, and wouldn't that be fantastic? And do you know what? I don't think it's going to be an out of the frying pan into the fire kind of thing either, with whoever comes in as the new owners. Max says, when we signed Lindelof, he also played right back and CDM for Benfica. Will Timber reduce to just playing right back, solidify his development like Mourinho did for Lindelof, or will he play both centre back or right back? I have no idea, because I thought he was probably purely coming in as a centre back. It wasn't really something I was thinking about of him coming in as a right back. But seemingly the noise is that he's coming in as a right back. So clearly I was wrong on that, so I don't know. PJM says, when will we see the outgoing start? Not including the free transfers. Oh, pretty soon. Pretty soon, I think you're going to start to see those outgoings making moves. Lee Grant has just announced his retirement today, to absolutely nobody's surprise. Seb B says, as much as it pains me, the Glazers don't want to sell their cash co. I think there's a lot of reduction in how much cash they're actually getting out of it. So I think there's going to be a peak time for them to sell. They're all pretty old. If you sell now for 4 billion, that's 4 billion profit because you've put fuck all in. And that's a lot of profit. To get to 4 billion, taking out the 70-80 million pound dividends you're taking out each year, it's going to take you a hell of a lot of years. I think anyone sensible would be like, look, cash the fucking chips out and fuck off and never come back. I think that would be good for everyone involved. Who will buy Jones? Now that is $1 million question. When's his contract up, actually? Let's have a look, 'cause I don't actually know when his contract's up. He could be one that's contract is up. Phil Jones. Oh my God, he's got another year. With an option of a further year. Who the fuck authorised that? How did anyone authorise that? He could potentially be here another 2 years under contract. He hasn't played 30 games a season since 2014. And he's never played 30 league games. Ever. What the fuck? Where's Bale going? Premier League at last count. One of the newly promoted teams. One of the newly promoted teams ain't going to be able to afford how much he's on. There's so much better value for money out there in terms of signings. Why would you buy a Phil Jones, right? When you can get, I don't know, 4 kids for 20 grand a week that are going to play week in, week out and be well happy rather than pay this fucking idiot 80 to 100 grand a week for him to play 13 games in 3 years. Fuck me. Oh, it's actually mind-boggling, isn't it? 229 games. In how long, Steve? In a fucking decade. 169 league games in 10 years. Average of, call it 17. Fuck it, you can have the extra one. Oh my good God. Who the fuck authorised that? This is the bit right. They authorised that on the back of like 7 years of being injury prone. He could be here for another 2 fucking years. Joel says, get him in at Paddock. I need centre-halves that are going to fucking play. He would clearly be the best player that's ever played in our league. Although not definitely. There's Premier League winners that have played in our league. And, United players have played in our league. And there's some fucking serious footballers in our league. But... Andrew Young says, do I know anything about the Glazers trying to buy E-Bengal FC? Nothing, never heard of anything about that. Captain Dust says Jones will be sold. To who though? Who the fuck are you going to convince to sign him? Which club is that badly run that you can sit them down and be like, listen, we got a Premier League winner for you. Yeah? I'm sure about that. It's Phil Jones though. Kez said they're definitely off to pay his contract. Yeah. Joel says, I've seen the new Liverpool signing from Fulham. Now has asthma, apparently. I think that was a joke. Please tell me that's a joke. I think it was a joke, mate. I think that was a Twitter joke. Unless, if it's not, that's fucking hilarious. John says, is he going to Salford City? Salford will not take him. I'm pretty certain of that. I mean, I don't know for sure. Obviously, I'm not involved in their fucking recruitment, but I can't imagine they would take him. Sunday Spoon says, any chance of a video exploring the under-23s and under-21s worth a shout under Ten Hag? I think we kind of done that, yeah. Captain Dust says, Steve, why do we want a left side centre back? Why is that such a popular thing? I'll tell you why. It's a popular thing because there's not very many left-sided or left-footed centre halves out there, so they're always a little bit of a premium, a bit like left-footed left wingers used to be when wingers used to hit the byline and cross it in that way. They're more on the right now, and you see people coming in off the right onto their left foot. Left side centre halves are a premium because when teams want to play out from the back, to protect the ball, you don't want to be passing in front of yourself when being pressed. You almost want to be able to get your body in the way, get an arm up, and then you can shield the ball when you're passing it, and it just makes it for an easier thing. Like left side centre half is important, but it's probably more of a thing. It's probably more of a thing nowadays, depending on the fullback. You don't want to be playing the ball behind people. Realistically, you want to play it in front of them. So if the right centre back is passing it to the left centre back, you want him to be able to control it and pass it on his left foot, and then it keeps it going. If they're passing, you're going to pass it behind me. If you're to my right and I'm right-footed, I've got to turn and get on my right foot. It's just smoother. Good players will cope though, regardless, but it's just smoother. Betty Swallock says, is Ty from AFTV a parody, or is he like that all the time? Worryingly, I think he was like that all the time. I'm actually... I don't even know if I can take the piss out of him because I'm not 100% sure he's all there, to be honest with you. Like, I feel bad if I took the piss out of him because, like, honestly, I think there's a duty of care with channels the magnitude that that like the likes of we are and Arsenal Fan TV is, and I think some people can probably handle some of the stuff that they get, and some people probably deserve to be protected from it a little bit. And honestly, I don't think Ty's all there, in all honesty. And I think there's probably a little bit of a duty of care that should be attached to him. He's fully like that, and that's the worrying thing, is that you go, oh, this is fucking serious, and it feels a little bit exploitative at times, and I'm not fucking a fan of that. Panchy says, Steve, how huge is your Whopper? It's all right. Not to write home about, but it does a job. Jed says, you were surprisingly restrained on the overlap. Nothing to get riled up about, really, is it? United are shit. Can't really argue that we're not. Richie says, stealing a wage, Jones is. I mean, yeah, if I was a football league club and I was looking at bringing in Phil Jones, I'd be like, right, look, I'll pay you 5-10 grand an appearance, maybe something along those lines, if he'd signed something along those lines. But you ain't getting a weekly wage. Let's be honest, you're probably all right for the rent. Patrick says, do I think there are a tactical advantage to playing a right-footed left-back, especially since left-footed wingers are more common and prominent in the modern game? Yes. But I would want them to be able to use both feet in possession. But that being their dominant foot, you're looking for them to block crosses or block shots. It's easier to do on your stronger foot. And I think a right-footed left-back tracking, that might be one of the next tactical innovations. Is Cancelo right-footed, actually? I don't know if he is right-footed. Apparently he's right-footed. So, yeah, I can kind of see that. The reason I was asking is because I can kind of see it when Cancelo plays. I think he prefers his right foot. And I think when he inverts and comes inside, I think he uses his right foot. And I think that might be one of the next tactical innovations that you see is more right foot inversion. Obviously, the first thing that's happened was the wingers became inverted, and you saw right-footed left wingers and vice versa. And I think the next thing, usually what will happen is there'll be an innovation and there'll be counter innovation, and then there'll be innovation to counter the counter innovation. And I think the inverted winger thing, we're probably at peak inverted winger at the moment. I think the time now would be to sort of bring in inverted fullbacks in terms of defensive attributes, and then there'll be something else. There'll be the midfield triangles might flip upside down, or you might see, things like the overlapping centre backs that you saw Chris Wilder do. Well, there's tactical reasons for overloading certain areas like that. There might be something more in that sort of line that I think is probably going to happen. Amaya says, I'm surprised you didn't tell Carragher that he's got more own goals than goals against United. That's what made him call me Fat Russell Crowe's son last time we was on air together. He didn't like that. He bit like a motherfucker. I Am King says, Tuanzebe just wasted his time in Napoli. Struggles, doesn't he? Thoughts on Looker saying that United don't have a budget but will spend within our means. What the fuck does that mean? That's not even English, is it? That doesn't even make fucking sense for him. IQ says, why Gary keeps defending Rashford while he knows he's toxic in the dressing room. Do you know Rashford's toxic in the dressing room? Because I don't. Lackland says, how much do you experiment with tactics and formations with Paddock? I don't really. We play 4-3-3. Next season, it will look a little bit more 4-2-3-1 because I've got Nosa coming back. And Nosa's a pure number 10. And he's probably the only player I would change our formation for slightly like that. I think... Well, I put it this way, Nosa would get played at a higher level. I know this. I was talking to someone on Sunday that would love to play him, but he doesn't drive. And he would be getting paid to play if he could drive. It's as simple as that. He needs to fucking go learn how to drive. And he would be playing high-level football, so it's worth it for me to find a way to fit him into our team because he's that fucking good. Could Timber be left back? I mean, theoretically, yes. David Lee says, didn't Rashford call Ralph Specky? Well, I don't know that. I heard it was getting called Specky, but I didn't hear who. Notch says, was the overlap heavily edited? I say it was edited. I don't know about heavily edited. What's the highest level someone has been moved to from Paddock? Conference. We've got 2 players playing in the conference at the moment. And doing bits in the conference as well. Score predictions for this week. Oh, you mean Saturday? I'm hoping it's a Kareem the Dream Benzema fucking masterclass. Like every fucking other human being on the planet. Andrew says, guys, why is no one talking about Jude Bellingham? He's young and talented and can improve our team. The reason no one's talking about him, Andrew, is because he's going to cost 100 million. And Dortmund have sold their big fucking golden goose for this season. So if you want Jude Bellingham, next season will be it. Why have we not gone for Tielemans, says Andreas. Fuck knows. Aaron says, Hala Madrid. Oh, believe you me. I'm very, very fucking serious that if Madrid win this, I mean, Rio's going fucking hanging out with Karim Benzema after the game. Joel's gone over to the game. I had the opportunity to go to the game, and I was like, on one hand, the highs are go fucking hang out with Benzema after he's just won the Champions League. That's a night to remember or forget, in it, whichever way. In Paris, what a fucking night out that could end up being. The alternative, though, is that you're there while Liverpool win a Champions League, and then I've got to travel back to the northwest of England with 100,000 Scousers as their European champions. And on the balance of probabilities, I was like, you know what? I'll watch it on the fucking telly, thanks. Did I watch the conference final? I didn't watch it, actually, no. Calesto says, chance on a video of potential signings from recently relegated teams. Yeah, I think we could probably do that. Jed says, I don't even like Real Madrid, but this once I'll love them if they win. Agreed. Jason says, hangover go-to meal, Steve. For me, it's a full English, but my full English is a bit wet, to be honest. I basically just have fucking sausage, bacon, hash brown and beans and toast. I Am King says, Steve, you said no to hanging out with Benzema. Not really. Not really. Is it even 50-50? You know, I think hanging out with him after he's won, possible. I wouldn't want to hang out after they've lost, and how shit's that going to be anyway? Just sitting there, fucking hell. So it would have only happened if they won, and you know you've obviously got the flip reverse side is that you're there in a stadium watching Liverpool win something, and there was no guarantee that we'd be sat anywhere neutral either. And I do have my own face, and I'm quite well known, not the biggest Liverpool fan in the world. So, we're not in a box or anything fucking fancy. So, it might have been a little bit on top. Ocean says, if I went to Paris, Liverpool would definitely win because that's life. So, thanks for not going. Correct. Black Pudding Lad says, Dan ST. No. About that. Right, I'm going to wrap it up. We have got a fucking big announcement coming on Stretford Paddock later this afternoon. Do not miss. Something is getting fucked right off. So make sure to come and watch it. See you in a bit.